Hi there. This is Ann Welker, Suffolk County Legislator, and welcome to South by SouthFork, where we speak with community members and advocates and local community leaders. And today we're so fortunate to have with us Judiann Carmack-Fayyaz, the Executive Director of the FoodLab at Stony Brook, Southampton. Welcome.
Welcome. It's so good to be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Now, you brought a centerpiece today.
I did. I had to because the students that we've had working with us actually through the Department of Labor propagated all of those plants over the summer, and I thought we should share them with you. So they're all in different stages of development, but voila,
And they're all succulents,
they're all succulents.
which means they're easy to grow,
Yes.
which means me and my brown thumb might be able to keep them alive.
There's no such thing as a brown thumb that can't become green.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. So glad to hear that. So can you tell us a little bit about FoodLab? You have students, you have plants, you have...
A lot of things, yeah. FoodLab was created in 2015 by Bob Reeves and Jeffrey Drummond. It was an annual conference that I would go to, which was fabulous. It was all about things food. And I would sit there and say, oh, that could be a course, that could be a workshop. And so I just became impassioned to go and create educational programming around food, and I added agriculture to it. So I've been at FoodLab for the past 2 years, and our mission is to educate people about food and agriculture and sustainability.
That's so great. And you have students, and where are the students coming from? How are you finding the students?
It's a great question. We basically started with community programming, so we offer workshops to the community. We work across the university with different departments, and we have created some symposiums that are open to students. But we're really excited because now we are pitching 4 credit courses that will be available for the university students, and we're super excited about that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
yeah.
And you recently have moved not only your umbrella organization, I'm not sure if that's quite the right title for it, but also your space.
Yes. Okay. So we were originally in the Liechtenstein Center, which is the creative arts program. And I think at that time they saw that, food, wine, agriculture, fishing, everything food was really part of the East End of Long Island, of its culture. And that's why it sort of started in that department. We're moving out. We're going to be we actually have moved under Wendy Pearson, who's a new Vice President of Strategic Initiatives. And with her help, we were able to get a whole new building, the Carriage House. And so we are setting up in there, and that's right next to the greenhouse and our big 1-acre educational space.
Which is an amazing space. We were fortunate enough to have a quick tour. Maybe you brought some pictures with you, right? Maybe you want to talk a little bit about the space.
I would love to.
That
Should
would
I
be
pour you
great.
some tea while we get
that
that?
would be lovely.
So I also want to thank you for attending the Tea Talk Tuesdays that we host. So
We definitely have to tell everybody about Tea Talk Tuesdays. Photos first or Tea Talk
Photos
Tuesday?
first.
Photos
We can do
first?
photos
Okay.
first.
Here we go.
Oh, okay, so this is a picture of our farm field. It previously was a soccer field, and we put up an agricultural fence first, only to learn from Dan Heston of Peconic Land Trust that our soil was terrible. So I think there is a video at one point where you see him plowing the field initially, and he was just going around saying, oh, this is terrible, I'm so sorry. So it looks beautiful now, but I think we shed a couple of tears during this process.
And then if we move forward one, but you were very happy to receive.
Yes, a donation from Long Island Compost. Actually, they've given us 3 donations of compost because it would have taken us years to rejuvenate the soil and bring it back to life with planting of sorghum. So we did, speed up the timeline to have compost come in.
Right. And then as a result of your amended soil and really healthy soil now, you've been able to produce quite a bit. The photos of your greenhouse and are amazing. Like,
Yes, so we
amazing.
started, we renovated the greenhouse a bit, and that's where we started all our seedlings. Everything in the garden essentially comes from the greenhouse. So we planted them, we had community members planting, and we teach horticulture classes.
So great. And you had a flower section, you had an herb section, you can see here. But then, what's that in the back?
Oh, well, you can do a lot more if you work with people, because you can go a lot further, a lot faster if you bring in and other people and collaborate. So this was SOMAS, the School of Marine Sciences, was using the greenhouse to dry their kelp. So we said, okay, well, we can use it in the beginning, and then I guess the kelp season is May, June, and most of those plants that we were growing were going out into the garden in May. So this is a symbolic picture of our collaboration with SOMAS. And this led to us doing a Seed to Soil Symposium, and this year it will be our third.
Oh, that's fabulous. When is Seed to Soil Symposium? Do you have a date for it yet?
Yeah, it's May 2nd.
Great.
And it's going to be very exciting this year. We'll have a dinner along afterwards, and you'll have to come.
Would love to. Would
Okay.
love to. How do people find out more about that?
If you go to our website, thefoodlab.org, you can get information. And it's not up yet, but it should be soon.
Right,
Yeah.
in time. Yeah, it's a long ways away from May.
Yeah, or you could sign up for our newsletter on the website, and then you'll find out about all of our workshops and events.
Okay, and I believe there's a workshop or the proceeds of a workshop in front of us here.
Oh, yes, I wanted to give this to you. So this is actually a bottle of fermented cabbage and carrots, and Nadia Ernestus is doing a workshop called Power Up the Natural Way. And it's been phenomenal. She's been doing these workshops on Sundays, how to make fermented foods, smoothies, salads. She was able to cure herself of type 2 diabetes through her diet.
Oh,
So
that's
she
amazing.
really is giving a lot of nutritional information and showing how you can help yourself, and it's mostly plant-based.
Oh, that's great. It's a series, right, that she's doing?
It's a series, but you can take individual classes.
Perfect.
So you could take them all, or you could be selective.
Okay.
And that's running now, so that again, if you go on the website, you can get more information on that.
And I noticed in your newsletter too, you were putting out information about it as well, which is super great. And you had her come and speak. You had Nadia come and speak.
Right at the Tea Talk Tuesdays, yeah.
So maybe talk a little bit about Tea Talk?
Oh, perfect segue. So here, Tea Talk Tuesdays. Cheers, everyone. Da-da-da-da. We'll take a sip.
Delicious.
Tea Talk Tuesday started, I was having a conversation with Marianne Birmingham from Cornell Cooperative. And I had done a lot of programming with her back in the day when I worked at Bridgehampton School. She would come in and give nutrition workshops to the students. And I said, it would be really nice to do something around, tea in the afternoon, because there's, nighttime programming and weekend programming. But, on an afternoon around tea time, it would be great. And it was sort of inspired by the TED Talks, like a 20-minute talk where you learn something and come in, but do it in a more casual space. Savor some tea and coffee, and we have 2 local producers there usually, so that you get to know the community people who are crafting food items and just get to know your neighbors. So it's like a social, educational, civilized tea time.
And you do it pretty much once a month
It's the first Tuesday of every month. And again, you can sign up. It's free. There's no cost to it. It's meant for everyone.
and it's held, what's the name of the space that it's held in? It's in the
It's called,
Chancellor's Hall?
it's in Chancellor's Hall at Stony Brook, Southampton. It's called the Rack Off Studio or the Radio Lounge. It
Okay.
has lots of names.
Okay,
And we're thinking of moving it over to the new space in the Carriage House in the spring because it'll be near the garden and changing it up a little bit. So maybe not so hot tea, maybe we'll do some cool mints, you know.
nice, nice. And you've had some great speakers. The last one, the last one we attended was Fish Guy Photos, Chris Paparo.
Yes.
He's amazing.
Chris Paparo is amazing. And then the month before, we had Siobhan Smith from the Shinnecock Nation, the Environmental Department. We have had Marianne Birmingham speak. Rachel Stevens from Sweet Woodland Farms, do you know her?
Mhm.
So she has spoken and she makes this incredible fire cider tonic she's known for her elderberry tonic. We've had, I'm trying to think back
I
now.
know, like the last couple I remember, but I know that each one, there's such a mix of people that come, and it's really good community building, particularly in some of the shorter days, longer night months. It's a really nice thing to look forward to.
Exactly, and I have to say thank you for coming, because I think it's also great when the community has this, like, a very relaxed opportunity to speak with the legislator. That's really important.
Well, we love coming, our whole staff comes, I mean, there are 4 of us, but we learn something every single time. And as you're saying, it's good community relations and community building for us as well, for sure. I think we have a couple more photos.
Oh, okay.
Let's
take a look.
if we look back, there was, oh.
Oh,
Who's
Raj.
this?
Well, I think, you're talking about community partnerships and collaborations. This is Raj, who works in the chemistry department, and he created this process, he didn't create it, but he's working on a process called nitrogen oxidation process, which breaks down cellulose in record time and creates an OMRI certified organic fertilizer. And then this biomass gel, which can be used to increase water retention in soils. So it was just amazing. So they came out to the Seed to Soil symposium, and they're working on grants, and they want FoodLab to participate in their work, particularly when it comes to composting and speeding up the composting process, which for us is not so much important. But if you think of New York City and big urban centers that have a lot of material, if you can come with a process that break it down quicker.
That's amazing, especially now with Long Island, with Brookhaven landfill having closed or at least closing.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do with our solid waste, look at
Right.
him
so-
go.
Yeah, that's why he looks so happy.
Exactly.
Oh.
There were another couple, oh, what's this?
Oh, okay, so lucky us, Jen Halsey from Milk Pal has been amazing, always amazing. So when I worked at Bridgehampton High School, she installed an apple orchard there. And I just said, when we got to Stony Brook, Southampton, we had to have an apple orchard. So she put the apple whips in, I think this was just a year and a half ago. So they had their second season, and they should produce, there's 24 trees, and they should produce a lot of apples for our community.
How long does it take before they produce? How
Like
many years?
4 years,
Okay.
4 years, they're in their prime.
Okay.
So we're getting close.
Oh, that's great. And what's this?
We do workshops. So this is a workshop we did on raised beds. So this was with community members, and there you actually see my brother and my mother.
Oh, that's great.
But we do offer like hands-on horticulture and various different workshops.
And raised beds are important because with our sandy soil, it helps.
It helps. It makes it a lot easier, and you can actually build them up to be 24 inches high, so that if you have any kind of mobility issues, or you're elderly, or you have back issues, you can bring it up to your height. And then it's a lot easier with weeds and things like that, or if you have a small space in your back garden that you want to grow food in. And we advocate that everybody grows food.
Oh, that's great. And can people come and have a tour of the garden there? Do you ever do that, or how do you expose people to the garden?
Oh, okay. Well, we really just started, which is really interesting that if you saw the garden now, it's only a year and a half old. But so we've had a lot of people come by. We've had a lot of field trips with high schools and within the university itself. Also, like whole divisions of the university. So the Division of Student Affairs had a retreat there, things like that. So I would say come to a Tea Talk Tuesday, or just stop by. We have a big plant sale, or it's an ongoing plant sale in the spring. We have all these seedlings, and so you could always drop by. Again, it's just a matter of sending an email or a text. I think my email address is there on the website and my number. So we welcome visitors galore. And it's a tour. You get a tour every time you
And
go.
you don't do all this yourself, do you?
No, no, thank goodness, because in the beginning, yes. So I think of FoodLab as a startup. Okay, so we actually came into existence with donations from some incredible community members. And so it was just me in the beginning, and then a couple of volunteers. And then we were able, with the funds from our donors, to bring a couple of people on. So we had Maria Plitt, who was an elementary teacher who had retired. And then we had Julian Chang, who was a former student of mine at Bridgehampton and a former Hayground student.
And where is he now?
Oh, so I'm so proud. He's a proof of concept. So Julian worked with us for a full year, and then he applied to the New York Botanical Garden in the Bronx. They have a professional horticulture program, and he got in, and today is his first day.
Oh, good luck, Julian.
I know, good
Right?
luck, Julian.
Super
So,
cool.
Yeah, so it's really about enabling people to find their dreams, their passions, and then, no one's allowed to stay, unfortunately. They have to go and, find
Fly.
Yeah, fly.
But you have help in the summer that is a collaboration with the county, right?
With
Can you
the
talk about that
county.
a little?
Yes, so we were really fortunate back when Rosalie Drigo was the commissioner of Suffolk County Commissioner of Labor, and she was really eager to do a program in agriculture. So we were able to do a program 2 years ago in collaboration also with the Bridgehampton Child Care Center. So they provided wraparound services and recruited students for this program. And so it's a 7-week program where the students get paid to learn and earn. So they did amazing things. So when you see the garden today, the first summer they put in a pollinator garden. They built a 30-foot pergola that's a grape arbor, and built 2 hoop houses
Oh, that's amazing. They were really
in 7
productive.
weeks. Yeah, no,
Oh,
we,
that's- How many of them are there?
12. There were 12 the first summer, 13 the second summer.
And where are they coming from? Are they coming from the local community or further to the west?
It
or
depends on
is it
the
a mix?
funding pools that are available. So the first year was mostly from the east end of Long Island, and they were mostly high school students and a couple of first year college students, and not all college students, so you could be working. And then the second year, we had more college students, and they came from the Riverhead area, further west, and from, Southampton, Bridgehampton. So it was a real mix.
And you've mentioned Bridgehampton a couple times in relation to Bridgehampton School. Can you talk a little bit about your history there? Because you've just been launching FoodLab for 2 years now, but prior to that,
I have to give Ross a shout out too, because I started my teaching career at Ross School. In a former life, I would like to say, I was a landscape designer, and Ross thought it would be good to teach at-risk students skills where there were jobs in our community. So landscaping being huge out here, I started teaching there and sort of fell in love with teaching. And I had students from East Hampton and from Bridgehampton and from Ross, and then was asked by Bridgehampton to go teach there. So I started there, and I've always been interested in food. I was very involved with slow food. So we built a greenhouse and we started this project really there, and did robotics and did all sorts of things. So, I mean, eventually I want to get into the technology part of agriculture, even at Stony Brook, Southampton. But I was at Bridgehampton for 15 years.
And that greenhouse and garden there carry on, even though,
Yes,
right?
I am.
That's the important thing,
Yes,
right? Because you don't want
yes.
weeds.
No weeds, and it's more about sustainability, because I really think that these programs are so super important, and in order for them to be successful, they have to live beyond the person. Because a lot of things you'll see, it's great, and then that person retires or moves or does something and it stops. But nope, I want to create programs that transcend me and carry on.
Oh, that's great. And you brought a video with you today.
Yes.
Should we show that now? Is now a good time for that?
Yeah, I
Yeah?
think then if there's any questions or anything that we missed, we'll see it, right?
Okay, sure. That sounds
Okay.
great. If we could play the video, that would be amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about what the video is?
Oh, it's a compilation of a lot of different
Oh, it's
snapshots of different times, and not necessarily in chronological order.
Okay.
So
All good.
yeah, I mean, 2 years, it's condensed and not even. So I guess it just gives you an idea of what we're doing and what everything looks like.
Okay,
Mm.
all right, that'd be great. Whenever we, or whenever we're ready to play that video, that would be.
With the World Food Prize. This is Tea Talk Tuesdays. And this is this very, very start of our project when we found out that we had terrible soil. So,
Oh, that's great. Okay, so to go back for a minute, because there are a couple things on the video that we didn't touch on. So World Food Project.
World Food Prize is one of the
Prize.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, that's okay. It's the most amazing program ever. It's I started it at Bridgehampton. It's part of Norman Borlaug, who started the Green Revolution, which has its own controversies. But he did save about 1 billion people from starvation. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970 and said there should be a Nobel Prize for food. And the Nobel Academy said, thank you, but no thank you. So he created the World Food Prize, which is the equivalent of their Nobel Prize.
Oh, that's neat.
Yes, and so he said, we definitely need a youth component to this, because they're our future and it's their future. So he created this Global Youth Institute that operates within the World Food Prize. And then there are chapters in each state. So we participate, it's a high school level competition of sorts, where you have to solve a factor or a problem that affects food insecurity in a particular country. So you're not allowed to choose your own country, not allowed to choose the US, but we had a couple of the students pick like all over the world. And we did this with Bridgehampton and East Hampton. And I just carried it on because I just believe so strongly in it. And this year, they travel up to Cornell and present their research paper. And there are about 100 students from all over the state. And they picked 6 to go to Iowa to the actual World Food Prize. And we had 2 students from East Hampton who got chosen and 2 from Bridgehampton.
Well, that's amazing.
Out of the 6. It was amazing. So we traveled to Iowa just in October, and just to see the students operating at that level. They meet Nobel laureates and heads of state, different countries. So yeah, so World Food Prize is one of my favorite, and we're about to start again with Bridgehampton this week. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah,
Good launch then, good segue
I know,
here.
this is great.
And you are How are you still working with Bridgehampton, with the high school students as part of FoodLab? Is that all together?
Yes, okay, so it's FoodLab sponsoring the education.
Perfect.
It's an after-school club with East Hampton. Last year, we worked with the science and research students who were amazing. And so that was like before school started because they had so many different activities. But they were using their actual research that they had been doing to solve global food insecurity problems. It's just
It's-
amazing.
Yeah, that science research program is so great. How fortunate for you that you are collaborating with them. I mean,
Yes.
both ways, right? That the students are working on such great projects. I remember a couple from last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I have to say we had one special needs student who participated a couple of years back, and he was amazing. He did a project on Ecuador and teenage pregnancy, and came up with a solution to educate the men. And the professors at Cornell gave him a special shout out because he said people usually address the women, and so it opened my eyes. I'm always having my eyes opened by people and things, but this isn't just for the scholars. It's really for everyone.
That's why Food Lab, I think, is so important because it just creates community and builds community, and the collaborative aspect of it is just amazing. We only have a few seconds left, but is there anything you want to address in particular, something that's upcoming, or perhaps your website, or?
Yeah, I think if everyone could go to the website, thefoodlab.org, and sign up. We just brought on a new person, Kate Soroka, to run the farm and greenhouse, and another amazing person, Danielle Puglielli, to help us with our symposium. So we're having 4 symposiums this year, one on indigenous practices, one on seed to soil, and all. So just go and come to Food Lab at Stony Brook.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It was pure pleasure. We love Food Lab, and thank you to LTV as well for this great opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you LTV for sure. Yeah, thanks.